My name is Kevin Vandever, and I am the senior pastor at the Lutheran Church of the Reformation on Capitol Hill, and we are one of the newest partners with Samaritan Ministry of Greater Washington, and I am pleased to be here with you tonight. I'm supposed to tell you why I'm here. I have a 2-year-old and a 9-month-old. My wife is seated in the back, and when Emily Solly, one of our members and also one of the co-chairs of this event, sent me a note about whether or not I'd be willing to be a MC tonight, we thought about those little kids running around and making all the noise and all the screaming, and this was an opportunity for us to get out and away from them for a night. So I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be with you, if for nothing else than to be able to get away from my sweet, darling children. The theme for the gala, this particular gala, is the Ark of Change, and it is sweet poetic justice that we are all seated here in the Ark. And so we'd like to welcome all of you here. We'd like to welcome those of you who are watching online. Samaritan Ministry of Greater Washington has always been about change work. Now, post-pandemic, we are celebrating the Ark of Change. I kind of alluded before that why we are here is Lutheran Church of the Reformation had a long-standing organization called Southeast Ministry DC, which was an initiative that was serving many people in Southeast DC with an educational reading program and other kinds of initiatives. At the end of last year, we decided as a church to come together and join forces with Samaritan Ministry of Greater Washington to increase and continue the impact that we initiated through years and years of service. Many of the people here from Reformation far outlast this work that I'm referring to, and they can give you more detail. But I challenge you to think about why you are here tonight as we pray. Let us pray. O God of many names, we thank you for arcs which move us from one point to another, from injustice to justice, from powerlessness to empowerment, from weeping to joy, from tears and sorrow to joy. We thank you for being the God of this work, and we are grateful for the provisions of time, talent, and treasure right here and beyond as we continue to impact the greater Washington, D.C. area. We ask that you would bless us and keep us now and always in your name and in your spirit. Amen. And now, without further ado, we will please invite Mr. Reverend David Wolf, the Executive Director of Samaritan Ministry, Greater Washington.
Good evening. So my job is to share with you what I think we're celebrating and what you're supporting tonight, or so I pray. I don't know the results of the silent auction yet, so there you go. So, but in short, as Pastor Kevin said, what you're supporting tonight and what we're celebrating is the arc of change in the ministry that we share. I mean every word of that. It's not mine, it's not yours, it's ours, and it's ultimately God's. As the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. His quote, and our work is what inspires our gala theme, the Ark of Change. As we celebrate both the Ark of Change and this expanding collaborative ministry that we share, and the Ark of Change that we see in the lives of individual Next Step program participants. But what does that really look like, and how does it relate to the Next Step program appeal items on the last 2 pages of your auction catalog? Because I want to be really practical here. This is what we're here for. So you might want to pull out that catalog, look at those last 2 pages. These are symbolic items that reflect the work of the Next Step program. You know, some organizations have a whole bunch of programs. We have one program with many components. and it makes a whole lot of sense to me. So take a look at that as I talk. Our recent organizational arc of change began, you could say, on December 1st, 2022, when Southeast Ministry merged with Samaritan Ministry, a culmination of many discussions and, as you heard earlier, some difficult discernment by leaders at Reformation Lutheran Church, Southeast Ministry's founder. And then suddenly, it happened, and adult basic education, which was part of SEM, became part of Next Step, building on earlier incarnations of volunteer-based pre-GED instruction. Also, the merger defined a new site in Congress Heights where the adult education happens, thanks to ABE coordinator Demetria Savoy and administrative assistant Denise Johnson. But with new sites and expanding services comes the need for enhanced support for participants, especially in terms of what we call direct program expenses. And so our budget for direct program expenses needs to grow from the current $5,000 to $10,000 in 2024. That's because we're expanding. And we also need more transportation support for participants, as well as fresh and healthy food supplements, fruit and veggie giveaways we call them, as we had a couple years ago but can't fund now, if those program participants are going to accomplish their goals. Amen? Okay. So in the program appeal, if you're looking, item number 301 represents a doubled 2024 budget direct service line of $10,000. But items 306, $500 for Metro Smart Trip cards, and number 307, $250 for fresh and healthy food are also relevant to the need. That's how this plays out. So please ponder and pray on these, but not too long, as you will need to raise your paddle shortly. A second data point in our organizational arc occurred when we launched joint employment training classes with IT training partner Biteback in January. Biteback's right here. Wave, you guys. Yay. Samaritan Ministry brought Next Step casework and Strive soft skills training, and Biteback brought its rigorous IT hard skills training. Not only was our pilot of this joint training successful, it solidified us as partners and embedded us at Biteback's North Capitol Street offices, thus defining basically a new Samaritan site. So, item number 303 in our program appeal is the cost of one Strive training class, or $5,000. And we will have at least 6 to 8 of those in 2024. So please consider raising your paddle for this one as well. I know that's a lot of money, but this is important work. As our arc of change makes us more accessible, we are also preparing to finally open another new site on the grounds of St. Paul's Episcopal Church, Rock Creek Parish, a location that puts us closer to the northeast quadrant of the district, right on the northwest-northeast line. Item number 2 in our program appeal is the minimum startup cost of $7,500 for opening the St. Paul's site. To be clear, and with great acknowledgement to St. Paul's Church, the site is being provided to us at no cost, but we still have those startup costs of at least $7,500. So please consider raising your paddle here. You can raise it in multiple places, but I'm really asking you to pick one or two. There's some lower level items, we'll get to those, but these are the higher ones. These are the harder ones. So like other nonprofits, we struggled in 2022-23 with recruitment and what is known as churn, the direct and indirect effects of the pandemic. If you didn't get the memo, all nonprofits are struggling with this, small, medium, and large. But as things picked up for us in 2023, so did our hiring. I'm really excited to share, if you missed the news, that we hired 3 new Next Step caseworkers and 1 intern caseworker between April and October of this year. So give it up for those staff members and for the work that it allows us to do. Further, the number of enrolled Next Step participants in the first half of 2023, I should have mentioned that it's a good thing we got those caseworkers because we have been serving participants at a rapidly accelerating pace this year. So to make the point, in the first half of 2023, we assisted 22% more Greater Washington residents than we did in the same period in 2022. And further, the number of enrolled Next Step participants in the first half of 2023 rose 14% year over year. If you don't appreciate how significant this is, post-pandemic, it is really hard to get people out to engage. They're afraid. There's all sorts of factors involved in that. But I was skeptical that we were even going to see a change this early on. Moreover, this trend translated into a huge jump in participant engagement. In the first half of 2023, casework sessions with participants were up 85% compared to the first half of 2022. And in the third quarter of 2023, our offices are even busier. So, item number 304 in our program appeal is life-changing Next Step casework for 5 participants of 10 sessions each, all for the bargain rate of $2,500. So please ponder raising your paddle for this great buy. So the most important driver of our growth is your investment of time and talent, as well as treasure, but I'm stressing time and talent. Your volunteer service allows us to staff the Next Step program as we need, but also allows us to add critical supportive services for participants that volunteers typically provide, such as job searches and digital literacy training, to name 2. That in turn requires volunteer support and training from paid program staff. In the program appeal, items 305, number 305, which is 1 complete digital literacy training for $1,000, and number 308, resources for 1 successful job search, which is $100, are critical items that volunteers provide, but only with training. Note that we'll do many DLT trainings and hundreds of participant job searches during the year, so we need to see a lot of paddles raised. So that's it. Thank you in advance for your transformational giving and bidding this evening, which I encourage you to do early and often. Thank you. This time I want to invite Sam Tanner, who's receiving the Outstanding Achievement Award, Sharon Morgenthaler from Bite Back, and Rasheen Carbon, our board president, to present this award.
The Outstanding Achievement Award goes to a participant whose efforts and attitudes and ultimately results distinguish themselves over the year or even in the course of many years. As you guys know, the work we do is relational, so it's a great honor to work with these people and to get to know their stories and get to see the fruits of their labor.
I had the joy of meeting Sam at Bite Back, and I know his story, and so I'm free to tell pieces of it, that he had been without a home, and he was a returning citizen, and he is a single father. And he completed the Strive Bite Back program with flying colors, but I didn't know him any more than that. And then I had a summer program I had to run with 15 teenagers, and I had no idea what to do, and I had what I believe we call a God wink. I was sitting at my desk, and look at this face. It flashed into my brain. Like, there was Sam in my head. And so I called Joe Paul, my CEO, and I said, what do you think about Sam Tanner running the summer program? And he said, go for it. So I called you. We barely knew each other. And you said, yeah, I can do it. And I sent you out. He did it, man. He was all over D.C. with these kids. They loved him. The community sites loved him. Biggest success since I was at Bite Back of a program. Then we followed that up. I said, I'm having a little bit of trouble with this Villages program. And I said, you know what? I think I'll send Sam out. so I was like, Sam, take it off my hands. And he did, and it is a great success. And so these are grant-funded programs, so we don't know what's next. So I just want to tell you, he's available for a steal, as they say on The Voice, okay? And he comes with my reference, and my reference is always the bottom line. Would I hire him again? Yes, I would.
Okay, they gave me like 30 seconds. So I want to thank God. I want to thank my mom. I want to thank David. I definitely want to thank this beautiful young lady right here, Sharon. I want to thank my dad. I want to thank Kim. And listen, if you don't give, I can't thank, right? If you don't give, people like me can't succeed. So please put it out there. Thank you so much.
We'd like to welcome auctioneer Brian Damewood, recommended by auctioneer Ernie Rogers, who did the 35th anniversary gala at St. Stephen's and the Incarnation in 2016. Come on up. Good to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, who's having a blast tonight? Let me hear you. Who's ready to raise a lot of money for more success stories like Sam? My name's Brian Damewood. I make my home with my family, my wife and 2 kids in Loudoun County, Virginia, and I'm pleased to be here representing Black Tie Benefit Auctions out of Richmond, Virginia. Ernie Rogers has been a big mentor of mine, and so when he called to see if I could do this event, I was happy to do it. We're here to raise a lot of money for Greater Samaritan Ministry of Greater Washington, and we've heard the success stories over and over. We're bringing together our neighbors facing poverty, homelessness, and other debilitating challenges with partner leaders, donors, and volunteers and staff to make success stories out of those lives. That's what each and every one of you has the opportunity in front of you to share your blessings that you've received and turn, I can't say it better than Sam just said, turn that treasure into thanks. That's what all of you have the opportunity to do tonight. Tonight's live auction is all in your hands, ladies and gentlemen, and you've got a great set of hands working the floor this evening. We have Mr. Clark Peacock from La Plata, Maryland, taking bids from the floor. And then we also have Paul Boyle. Is Paul in here? Paul, and then Jane Bishop, one of the caseworkers. Where's Jane? There you go. You can turn your bids into either myself or any one of those 3 individuals. Also, we have Demetria, Connor, and Denise who are clerking this evening. I don't want to miss an opportunity to gather up that money so that we can make more of a difference here with Samaritan Ministry. So who's got their bidder cards? Who's got those ready? Get those ready, put them up, hold them up high. Get them up way high. I can see in the back. Folks, don't let that bidder card sit by your hip and miss out on an opportunity to buy the item that you just have to have. And look, if you didn't get a bidder card and you're thinking, oh, I want to buy this, just put your hand up in the air. We'll get your first and last name. We're sure you're good for it. It's fine. Thank you. All right, let's go to item number 205. How many of you have been to the cathedral for Handel's Messiah Christmas season? Isn't it wonderful? Well, you're going to have a chance to buy 2 tickets. This is going on December 8th, 9th, and 10th, I believe. It's going to be one of those dates, December 8th, 9th, and 10th at the National Cathedral. 2 exclusive tickets. You're going to be captivated by the sublime melodies in the majestic setting of the National Cathedral. You and a guest will revel in an unforgettable evening embracing the rich and transcendent sounds of Handel's Messiah. As the renowned voices resonate within the cathedral's awe-inspiring architecture, you'll be immersed in a world of musical splendor and spiritual grandeur. This auction item is going to give you the opportunity to witness a timeless masterpiece performed in one of the most iconic and acoustically resplendent venues in our nation's capital. Bid generously, ladies and gentlemen, and secure your chance to experience this extraordinary musical celebration and support the noble cause of Samaritan ministry. How much you want to give? Let's go. Let's go low and go. 100, and now he'll be $100 bid 2, and 200 now, and 2 now, 300 now, and 200 bond bid now, 3 now, 4 to pay for, 300 asking 4 now, and 3 bid dollar bid 4, 5, and now 500, and now 4, 5, 5, how to get 5 bond bid now, 400 asking 5, now $600 bid, and 5 asking 6 and bid, now $600, 550, do it again, and 5 half bid now 600, and $6 bid now 5 half bid now 6 now half 6, have it to pay for it, 650 if you want it, and 6 year half in now 7 to pay, and 6 half 7 Paul's in, and 6 half here now 7, Jane your folks are out, 600 now 700, and 6 half here asking $700 bid, and 6 half here now 7 to pay all done. I mean it's on my left side, it's 650 asking 7, and 6 half I'm above in the $7 down here, 6 half above in the 7 to pay, all through last amount of call, 6 half asking 7. You're on your left, Clark, and 6 half here now $700 now, and 6 half here now 7 final call to bind bid now 6 half and 7 6 half and 7 6 half above in the 7 above and I have close the bidding at 650. David, I've got a feeling you've got a pretty good connection with a lot of faith groups. How about the Catholics? Are you good enough with the Catholics to ask for another 2 tickets? All right.
But we talked with the cathedral reps, so I think we're good.
I'm going to sell one right here for 650. I want you to go as well for 650. Will you come along as well? Sold 650 your way. What's your bidder number? Sold 650 to 102, 102, and 111 is going to get tickets as well. Hey, give them a big round of applause. That's what tonight's auction's all about, supporting Samaritan Ministry of Greater Washington. 2 times. Thank you very much.
This time I want to invite Michelle Lewis-Mazzotti, our partner council convener, to come forward with me to present our next award to Lutheran Church of the Reformation, which is going to be received by Pastor Kevin Vandiver. Yeah, that's good.
Ask the rest of them to come up.
Oh yeah, everybody else come on up from Reformation Lutheran. Come on up. That's the idea. Kevin's going to speak. You don't have to speak. We want you all up here. Let's give it up for Reformation Lutheran. This is a new partner parish. It's pretty good turnout. It's like the Academy Awards. Yeah, you get to have your family and friends, right? So, each of Samaritan's more than 60 beloved partner parishes and schools are vital to our mission, right? That's where almost 100% of our time, talent, and treasure is sourced. But what made Reformation stand out this year, even as a new partner parish, I mean, usually when we present this award, frankly, it's someone that's been around for a while and has had a tremendous impact over time. But Reformation stood out among its dedicated peers over this last year because of its courage to make a really hard discernment. And that discernment was the future of Southeast ministry. Southeast ministry was a vital, powerful ministry for many years, but it just became clear that it was not sustainable as it was. And over several years, this was not a year, just a 1-year decision. This was over like 5 years by my estimation. You guys know? Yeah, because I had where's Valerie Ashley? Raise your hand, Valerie. Valerie Ashley, the former ED of SEM. Give it up for Valerie. I mean, Valerie and I started talking about this in 2019. Okay, yeah. So almost 5. Actually, it'll be 5 this January. Yeah. So many discussions, as I said earlier, and really hard discernment led to the decision to say yes to merging with Samaritan Ministry. And, you know, so it was hard for them, but as I was chatting with Pastor Kevin at one point, it was really hard for us because, you know, we thought what's the risk for us was, oh, okay, SEM will be integrated or its work will be integrated into Samaritan Ministry. And then what? You know, maybe they'll just feel relieved that it survived. And, you know, how much can we count on their ongoing engagement and support? Well, you see the evidence right here. There are 5 representatives, 3 on the board and 2 partner reps. So give it a rep for Reformation on its leadership. Why don't you just self-introduce yourself, the leaders that are here. Lyndon, why don't you go first?
Hi, Lyndon Smith.
Partner rep?
Yes.
Yep.
Karen Carlson, partner rep.
Carl Muller on the board.
Suzanne Hazard on the board, and Emily Solly on the board.
Yeah, let's give it up for those leaders. And at the same time, this new partner parish has, as I wrote here, put their money where their mouth is, robustly supporting Samaritan since SEM merged with us last December. So it is our privilege, Michelle and mine, you get to do the honors, to present this award for an outstanding partner to Reformation Lutheran.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Yeah, we'll do a photo op.
I'm just the pastor, and I'm new, but this work far outlasts even my coming. They were doing this stuff in the early 2000s, over 20 years of service, and this helps us to believe in the power of the resurrection, that we take this energy in this work and that it continues onward. And so it's a challenge for all of us to continue to sow into these kinds of ministries because it reverberates across time and space. So I would really like to make sure that y'all thank the people of Reformation because they are the ones who really have carried this work forward.
Why don't we all gather in front for a photo op? Khadijah's going to take our photo. All right. All right. Let's give it up one more time for Reformation Lutheran. At this time, I want to invite the Reverend Vince Powell Harris to come forward, recipient of the Compassionate Samaritan Award, and volunteer manager Cy Jones. Where's Cy? There she is. Come on over. Come on up, you guys. Cy, would you grab me? So, as many of you may know, Reverend Harris, Vincent, as I know him, part of his work and his sharing was a testimonial he gave as a Next Step volunteer at the Next Step breakfast in 2015. Yeah, 2015. And I want to read his words about his experience, and as we honor him as a compassionate Samaritan for his volunteer service at Samaritan Ministry. Vincent wrote, contemplating retirement from St. George's Episcopal Church a few years ago, after 21 years as rector, I was faced with a question as to what I would do with my time once I had retired. I knew that my wife would have priority over a substantial portion of my time, so I had to make a decision about what to do and with the rest of it. I decided to volunteer with an organization at least once a week after I did a year of doing as little as possible. I personally experienced that repeatedly. You rejected my suggestions. If I may channel Gus McRae in the miniseries Lonesome Dove, he wrote, for a moment, I ain't scared to be lazy. It just so happened that one day I received a call from the newly minted executive director of Samaritan Ministry. That would be me. This was 2014, I think. David invited me to lunch to talk about getting involved with Samaritan Ministry. At lunch, I told him that Samaritan Ministry was one of the organizations I was considering as a volunteer opportunity. David suggested two things I might consider. One was as a member of the board, and the other was to speak on behalf of the organization as part of the Speakers Bureau. The former was not to my liking. This is a man that did many vestry meetings. I didn't want to do that sort of thing, as I had grown weary of meetings and wanted to do something more hands-on. The latter was something I wouldn't mind doing if that was needed. Not much enthusiasm there. Then David suggested that I might consider becoming a front office coordinator. 3 strikes and you're out, so was it? In the Southeast Anacostia office. I had absolutely no idea what, in Samaritan Ministry parlance, an FOC was or did, but it sounded like the hands-on experience I was looking for. So I started in April 2014, and while it has not been a life-changing experience for me, it has been a life-stretching experience. Pretty good distinction. It is a ministry of hospitality. I greet people who come through the doors of the house, of the office, serving them coffee, tea, water, and non-judgmental, empathetic listening ear. I assist participants with job searches, resume creation, and setting up email accounts. I also sort mail, answer the phone, and put out the trash. Thank you for that. Most importantly, I do what the lead caseworker, Adrian Vaughn, of blessed memory, asks me to do. Working with people who are having a rough patch in their lives and are trying to get back on their feet and become productive citizens again has been eye-opening. Assisting people trying to negotiate the many obstacles, disappointments, and hurdles that confront them, some personal, some bureaucratic, is not for the faint of heart or those who are looking for a quick fix. Setting goals and developing strategies to meet those goals is hard work if you are serious and committed to assisting people in taking those next steps. I am blessed to be able to assist people in taking those next steps. Now I want to introduce Cy Jones, our volunteer manager, who's going to add a little bit more reflection.
Thank you, David. Okay, Vincent, because I came on in 2016, I also reached out to Naima Harris, lead caseworker with FOC, and also Jane Bishop. Believe it or not, she was a casework associate there in Southeast, and then myself. So this is a collaboration of what the three of us wanted to say. While serving as FOC in the Anacostia Southeast office for many years, Reverend Harris was a quiet and authoritative resource. He was very attentive and interacted with the participants with grace. That's very important to us. The participants, especially the male participants, okay, look forward to speaking with you as often as possible to seek your wisdom and guidance because they trusted you. You were a trusted individual in the Southeast office, and that's very important because it's hard to get people going through a lot of different things to trust people because doors have been slammed in their face and been told no and just mistreated. So that is very important, and we wanted to make sure you know that they trusted you. He was always willing to help and usually volunteered when called upon. For many years, he enjoyed escorting attendees at the Next Step Breakfast. Thank you very much. At the Next Step Breakfast. And finally, as FOC, Reverend Harris provided a level of respect and dignity to the Southeast office by not only giving his time, but his prayers. And we want to thank you for that.
Amen. Thank you, Si. To Si's witness, I just want to personally add my own as both clergy colleague and friend. Vincent lived our work, lives our work. He practiced the rigorous compassion, which is the bedrock of Next Step, but also a core value of the organization. And he practiced it on me. I know this because Vincent was an advisor of sorts to me during my early years and during his early volunteer years. I guess you could say I was an advisor to you occasionally. Yes, that's right. Telling me the truth, come whence it may, cost what it will. Thank you for that and so much more, Vincent. It is our pleasure to present to you the Compassionate Samaritan Award this year. Let's do a photo op.
Thank you. David did not give me a time limit. And since I am a minister of the gospel, that's dangerous. But I would like to say that I am truly humbled and honored to receive this Compassionate Samaritan Ministry Award. I am thankful to David and the Samaritan Ministry family for seeing in me a representation of what a Compassionate Samaritan volunteer is. I must admit I was quite surprised because during the pandemic I was not able to serve as an FOC, and due to my wife's illness I had to become her major caregiver, which I do now. But I certainly, how can I say it? I certainly felt more from the participants in terms of showing me what resiliency is, what stick-to-itness is, what faith is, and the strength of character that it takes that when one gets knocked down, one gets up. And so I want to thank David for giving me the impetus to become a front office coordinator. And I also want to thank you, David, for what I said at the Next Step Breakfast. I want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to overcome my extreme shyness. Thank you.
Okay, let's give all of ourselves a collective hand for all of this work that we've done together. And as we continue with our acknowledgments, please join me in acknowledging our organizational sponsors with your applause. I think it's best if I call all their names so that you can give a good, raucous applause at the end, all right? So as I call your name though, please still stand. Independent Project Analysis, please stand. Mortgage Bankers Association. J. Mallon Photo and Video. You don't have to clap yet, hold it, all right? Bite Back, one of our partners. Auctioneer Brian Damewood and Clark Peacock, they earned their money tonight. Yeah, there he is, okay. From Black Tie Benefit Auctions. A Family Affair Catering. Building Bridge Across the River. Skyland Workforce Center. Grassroots Communication. Community. Yeah, stand. Keep standing. Remain standing if I called you. I'm almost finished, I promise. Community IT Innovators. The Informer, St. Teresa of Avila Roman Catholic Church, Anacostia, St. Luke's Episcopal Church, D.C. Are y'all standing? Nobody, y'all sat down. Come on, stand. Did I call you? Yeah. Did I call your name? Okay, now we're getting ready to give you applause. So now everybody whom I've called, just go ahead and stand up. All right. And all the volunteers that made tonight possible. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. I'm sorry I made you stand. I'm only following directions. Don't be mad at the messenger, okay? We'd like to also especially thank our Gala co-chairs, Isaiah Poole and Emily Solly. Can you stand? Come on up. He said, come on up. Emily and Isaiah, please come up to the stage. And partner council convener, Michelle Lewis Muzati. Can you come to the stage, please? Here they come. All right.
Give it up for this leadership team.
Yeah. Excellent job tonight. Thank you. Okay. Oh, this is yours. It says that you're supposed to thank me on this thing that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
So I'm only staying here because I'm
doing it right?
I think so. It's on the direction, so
Yeah, that's right.
I'm giving you
Let's
your
give
cue.
it up for our MC, Pastor Kevin. Thanks, man.
Thank you.